At least what it is to me. Okay, so Mr. Shepard was telling you some things about my career. Who am I as a musician? Well, I wear a lot of different hats in the music world. First of all, I'm a jazz vibraphonist. And I'm sponsored by a couple different companies in the music business. The Selmer Music Corporation, Selmer Music Corporation, and that's also Ludwig Drum Company and Musser Mallets, as well as Mike Bolter Mallets, the preeminent mallet manufacturer in the world. So I have done a lot of concertizing as a vibraphonist. Actually, I have my own band. And I play and have played at many jazz venues around the world, some in Europe, some real prominent ones, up and down the West Coast, the East Coast, and throughout the Midwest and the West. So, I am a band leader. I'm also a composer. Now, I don't know if any of you have started writing music, maybe some of you will someday, but when I was just about your age, around 7th or 8th grade, I wanted to start to write music. It's just something that was very, very important to me. If you want to write music, you will know it. The music will call to you. So, for the last 50-some years, I've been a songwriter. I've been a jazz composer. My music has been played, I'm proud to say, on over 160 radio stations many, many times worldwide. And that's regular radio and a lot of internet radio stations. This is my current CD that is out. Just came out in June. It's called Cool Vibes. Cool Vibes. So you're going to ask me, well, where can I get it if you like it? You can find it all over the internet. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on CD Baby. You can find it on Amazon, Spotify. I'm on Pandora Radio. So if you want to look at my music, I'm online. And you can also visit my website, www.steverabine.com. So, when I was younger, I was a beginning jazz musician in Los Angeles. I was a studio musician. What is a studio musician? A studio musician is the kind of individual that plays for a lot of recording sessions. I played for television programs, different recording sessions, some of the bigger recording studios in LA, Paramount, MGM, Universal Studios. I also had a band in those days, a young, up-and-coming jazz group. It was called Oracle, A-U-R-A-C-L-E. And we did 2 records, 2 albums on Chrysalis Records. You probably don't remember that record company anymore because there aren't that many record companies anymore, you know. But we did a lot of concertizing, and it was the beginning of my jazz career as a professional. Now, I also have been actively involved in music education for the last 30 years. I have a doctorate degree in music, and I attended a very prominent music conservatory when I went to college as an undergrad, the Eastman School of Music. And then I did my master's at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and my doctorate at the University of Iowa in percussion performance and in music theory as a minor. So, I have taught at the university level. I taught at UNO, for instance, for about 13 years. For 10 of those years, I was the head of the jazz program and the percussion program and one of the assistant directors of the bands. For the last 17 years, I've had my own private teaching studio. I teach a lot of students every week in my own home studio here, not far from school. I teach percussion, drum set, piano, classical and jazz, pop, blues. I teach songwriting, I teach jazz improvisation to all students, and some of my students even take piano vocal stylings with me. So I'm pretty busy on a given day, and I'm operating my own music business, essentially, both as a teacher, as a recording artist, and I also have another organization where we are now doing motivational music posters that you can buy online. From the J.W. Pepper retail organization. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So, when you put all of that together, in order to be successful, whatever you determine success to be in your particular life, and that may change from now until you're, an older adult. Some people want a lot of notoriety, they think that's success. Some people want a lot of money, that's success. Some people just want to be happy, that's success. Some people want a good paying job they can provide for themselves and their family someday. This is all part of your future. But in any event, in music, for those of you that are contemplating going into music, maybe music is your passion in life. That is something that is evolving as I'm speaking right now. How you feel now about music, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it may be exactly what's calling to you. If it is, bravo to you. That's what called to me in this life. That's what called to me. Now, alternatively, maybe there are other things that you want to do. Maybe you want to be in the helping professions. Maybe you want to work in the medical career. Maybe you want to be an engineer. Maybe you want to work in information and technology with computers. Maybe you want to have your own business. Maybe you want to be in law. Maybe you want to be an architect. There's all sorts of things for you to consider for your future. I can tell you from my own experience that if you are a high-achieving person, if you desire to be a high-achieving person, there are certain characteristics that you should possess. If you don't have it so much right now, it can be developed. Here's one of my posters that I think are 3 very important characteristics that may help you on that journey. The 3 Ds: discipline, dedication, and determination will decide your fate. Ooh, it sounds kind of ominous, doesn't it? Discipline, dedication, and determination will decide your fate. Well, let me just tell you, it's not easy to get great grades in school. You have to work for it. If you want to do well in your science course, your mathematics course, English, all of that, it's going to take discipline. You don't put it off. It's not a thing that you want to procrastinate about. I always say this: if you want to be great, do not procrastinate. That's a word, that's a very negative word in life. Procrastination, putting things off. High-achieving people do not put off what they hope to do well at. They commit to it with their heart, soul, and mind. You know, I was talking to some of the kids earlier today. Last night, I was practicing at about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. Okay, and I asked them, how many of you were practicing at 9:30 or 10? I think only one person was, so bravo to that person. But the point I'm trying to make is this. You're going to have to bring it in this world if you really want to excel at what you love doing. There really are no shortcuts. Which brings me to another very important concept: hard work. That's something that was instilled in me as a young boy. You know, I have taught tens of thousands of drum set lessons in my lifetime. And guess what? I have taught those lessons on a drum set that I earned as a young boy, having a lawn service business when I was, you know, in the latter part of middle school and high school. I cut lawns for 4 years. And I earned my drum set. And because of that, I still use that kit 40 years afterwards. There is honor in hard work. I don't think there's much honor in being lazy. I really don't. You tell somebody you're lazy and they think, really? You want to admit to being lazy? That for me, if somebody said I was lazy, it would hurt me. It would hurt me deeply. I want them to say, Steve is a hard-working, high-achieving person. He was since he was young, and he is now. I tell that lesson to all of my students on a daily basis. Hard work, ladies and gentlemen, leads to success. There are no shortcuts on the road to success. Now, did I say hard work guarantees success? No, I did not. But I can guarantee you this. If you do not apply yourself, if you do not work hard at what you love doing, you will underachieve. How far you underachieve is yet to be determined. but you won't like it in the future. I call that the what-if scenario. I've had students say to me, well, I wish I would have practiced more. I wish I had applied myself more. If I would have studied harder, I would have gotten into the school that I wanted to get into. What if I had done this? What if I had done this? What if I had done that? Well, guess what? It didn't make them happy. You can do something about that. You can change your life for the better if you commit to doing something I call your personal best. It's one of the tenets of my philosophy, trying to achieve your personal best. You know, I don't know what perfection is. I'm not worried about perfection, but I am worried on a daily basis about always trying to do my personal best. And some days, I think I even supersede my personal best. And I know it. I don't fool myself about it. You never want to play games with yourself and say, you know, I really am working hard, and you're really not. Because, you know what? I think each and every one of you really knows when you're really giving it your best shot at whatever you are doing. You never want to fool yourself. You know, if you have to look in the mirror and say, oh, geez, you know, I'm not being honest about this. I could do better. I should do better. You know, don't just do it for me. Don't do it for someone else. Do it for you. Do it for you. You are important. You know, I'm not going to live forever. Probably a lot of people are happy about that. But I must say, you are the future. You are the future. I have great hope because you're here. I also have high expectations for each of you. I want you to go away thinking today that Steve said, I should expect a lot from myself in this world. And that actually, if I try hard enough, I can do it. I'm not going to let myself off the hook. I'm going to follow through. When it's hardest, I'm going to work even harder to achieve my goal. Do you think it's easy to just spend thousands and thousands of hours practicing when you're tired? It's not. But if you're going to perform for people and you say, I'm a performer, you've got to get yourself into a practice room and practice. There isn't one person in this world that can make me go into my studio and practice. Only me. It's on me. If I don't practice, I suffer the consequences for it. I don't play up to my ability. And for me, that's not acceptable because I have high standards. I hope that all of you have high standards. Think about that. The next time you want to just underachieve and not give your best effort at something that's really important to you, I want you to reevaluate that. I want you to think really carefully about that. Am I being true to myself? Am I being true to myself? How important is it to each and every one of you to really become the kind of person you dream of being? I know that there are many people in here that have all sorts of different dreams and goals. Of course, some of them are musically oriented. And I say fabulous. And like I said, there's other things that you're also interested in. Even though you're interested in other things and you're playing or singing, you can still do that for the rest of your life. Music is an all-the-time life thing. If you take piano, you can play it your whole life. If you love playing your instrument, even though you're, taking care of people someday, you're a physician, you can go home and play your instrument. Maybe you love that. Maybe it's a really important part of who you are and what you want to do. And it should be. If you put the time in, keep it going. Keep it vital. Keep it current. Once you stop producing, though, you'll lose some of those skills. Does that make sense? I have generally found that once people check out, once they stop trying to do their best at something, getting them back into the groove is pretty tough. You don't want to get out of it. You want to work even harder. You want to challenge yourself. Is it exhausting? Yes. Do each of you do a lot of different things on a daily basis? Do you have busy, active lives? Of course you do. I know that. So do all your teachers. But they're here for you. They're here to help you on your journey. So are the people in your life that love you and care about you. They want to see you be happy. That's the bottom line. We're here on this earth to make a difference. We're here to change, to develop your life so that you can attain the happiness and fulfillment that, the world has available for you. If you're willing to put the time in. Okay? Now, it doesn't all have to be heavy, meaning, it's like, gloom and doom. No, you should do it with a good attitude, with an empowered feeling. How about this? The 3 E's: effort, energy, and enthusiasm will create opportunities. Hopefully everybody that was here today can say that attended my clinic that I was enthusiastic. I want to be here. I wanted to do this today. I wanted to be here and share my ideas with each and every one of you. Nobody forced me to do it. I wanted to be here. I genuinely had a great time. No faking it, just straight up. I loved it. I was enthusiastic, and I had what? I put a lot of energy into these clinics today. We covered a lot of territory today, in jazz band, in the percussion sectional, and now today. If you're going to do something well, it takes energy. You don't want to be the person that's so low energy that you're just kind of chronically going through the motions. Not acceptable. Step it up. Step it up. You're too young, you're too vital to accept, that tired, really non-productive attitude. I promise you, if you have a lot of effort, energy, and enthusiasm about something, you're going to do well at it. And it's going to be contagious, meaning other people are going to pick up on it. They're going to say, I want to be around that person. They've got what I want. They've got something that I want for myself. They've got passion and a life force and an energy that's undeniable. Undeniable. I'm sure you've seen it. You've seen it, and maybe you possess it. If you do, bravo. Great for you. You've seen it in some of your friends. You've seen it in people you know. When you see it, you know it. There's no faking it. When it's genuine and it's real, there is no faking. Authenticity. Authenticity. Deliver the goods in this world. One person, it brings back a story. Somebody, when you get to be known kind of in your field, somebody's opinion of me once was, he was a percussionist in New York City, he played in the New York Philharmonic, and my name came up apparently. Things come back to you, and he said, oh yeah, Steve Raybine, he really delivers the goods. From one of your peers that's the best in his field, that meant a lot to me. That means I'm not faking it. I'm going to come through. I'm going to be here for you. I'm accountable to my students. I'm accountable to myself. I'm accountable to my community. I'm accountable to my family. There's honor in that. I believe in that passionately. And I want to believe in all of you. I want you to take pride in who you are and what you have within you. It's magnificent. It really is. But you've got to develop it and you've got to discover some of these things. Okay? 10 minutes? Okay. I'm going to leave it open for a few more questions. But I do want to bring up one more thing that's important. Here's one of my big posters. It's big. Woo! That was a good catch, wasn't it? I can almost twirl this. It's almost like twirling a drumstick. Can you read it? Attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. Never forget that. Your attitude determines your altitude. How far you will go in life is predicated in great detail or great measure by how your attitude is. If you are an upbeat person most of the time, I mean nobody's perfect, but if you're genuinely upbeat and people like you, guess what? Good things will happen for you because people like to be around people they like. Someday when you're out in the job market and your colleagues and your peers and your co-workers like you, that is a major bonus. Never underestimate the power of getting along well with people. It's very important in life. It's actually a lesson I had to learn. You know, when you live as long as I've lived, you do learn along the way if you're open to learning things. And hopefully, I'm a little smarter today than I was yesterday. I'm not done learning. I'm not done growing. I'm not done trying to be better. No. I want to make the most of my life, and I want it to be productive. And I hope that is true with all of you. I want to open it up to a couple of questions.
I have one. I have one for you, Dr. Raybine. We have lots.
Sounds like the voice of God.
It is. Hey,
oh my gosh.
We have a lot of students that are just discovering that they are really good, or can be really good at, say, the violin or the trumpet or singing.
Yeah.
And they're participating in these ensembles now, and they're thinking, wow, this is kind of fun. I think I might like to try to write some music for my instrument, my voice. How do they go about doing that? What are some steps that they can take maybe?
You mean to learn how to write?
Yeah.
Compose music?
Sure. They've got these ideas maybe, but they don't know how to put it on paper yet.
Okay. Well, here's an easy fix today. Just about everybody you know, and probably all of you or most of you have an iPhone or access to one. You can always sing your melody, sing your song into your phone. That's a good way to start documenting it. Even before you learn how to actually physically write the music, you can actually, listen back to it, and that's a good point of departure. Start documenting it with what's on your phone. And other than that, I would say you may have to consult, a music teacher to help you if you say, because I have students that are songwriters, and you know what? The best songwriters I have right now are girls. Yeah, younger girls. Some of my young girl songwriters are killer good. But we study it together. So, maybe that's a short answer for that. I don't know. That's what I might recommend.
That could be it. There's a question down here.
Yes. What inspired me? That is really a good question. By middle school, I had my own jazz band already, a combo. And I was listening to a lot of music, just like you probably listen to a lot of music, in whatever style you like. And I said, I want to create that kind of music myself. How do I start doing it? That began my odyssey as a composer. It was just a deep desire to want to write music. If you really have it within you and you say, I gotta write music, I just gotta do it. It's so important to me. The light switches on in you. That means now you're obligated to follow through. You need to talk to people that can help you learn how to write. But if you want to do it, seek out people that can help you develop that skill. They're out there. Yes? That I look up to? As a musician? Well, now I'm going to go back in time here. A lot of the people I might reference you might not know. Well, believe it or not, I am a classically trained musician. I really was always inspired by, some of the great composers like Bach and Beethoven. They're two of my favorite composers. That sounds kind of obscure, but it's really true. I was a big fan of the Beatles growing up. They inspired me. There were certain jazz musicians that I really resonated with. Believe it or not, some of them I performed with. I love Dave Brubeck, and I performed with Dave Brubeck later in life. I even opened a concert for him once when I was in my 20s. So there were iconic figures that, I loved their music. They inspired me. They challenged me. So you probably are experiencing some of that yourself.
Real quickly, is there a Brooklyn S who has a laptop? Oh, okay. Great. Thank you. Never mind. Next question for Dr. Raybine.
Yes, back there.
What was the first instrument that you played?
What was the first instrument I played? I started taking piano lessons in first grade.
Cool.
First grade, took lessons from first through fourth grade, switched to drums in fourth grade. Then by seventh grade, I was already playing mallet instruments and starting to write music. Piano was the beginning of my career as a musician. Yes? What's my favorite instrument? To play? Well, I probably, obviously I love my own instrument the best of my without, but probably a close second is piano. And then drums after that. But I really love the piano passionately. Yes? Did I ever what? I'm sorry. Did I ever doubt myself? I actually have a poster about that. Here it is. Remember this for the rest of your life. Listen everybody, she asked me, did I ever doubt myself? I think everybody doubts themselves at some point. It's pretty, I think it's pretty basic to all of us. There's times. Deep down I say, you must ultimately believe in yourself and your abilities. But remember this saying, when you have doubts, say it, cast them out. Cast them out. When you have doubts, cast them out. Did that answer your question?
Okay, students. Reel it in.
Sorry, I got a little carried away there with you.
Let's be respectful listeners.
Okay, you had a question, sir? What are my favorite experiences? What? My favorite experiences as a musician? Okay. That's kind of a multifaceted question. That's a great question. I gotta say that some of the most empowering moments I have as a musician, they come in different categories, but I'm gonna tell you my favorites. One, when I'm teaching other people, because I love teaching. I really do. I love teaching. So when I have a student that's really excelling and giving me their personal best, that's a great moment for me. They don't have to be perfect, but they're really bringing it. They're really trying. They're giving me their personal best. That's a great moment for me. When I've written a new song is one of my best moments. Even before it's on the radio or before it's a CD, it's just done. I'm alone by my instrument. I've written it. Great moment. And sometimes when I'm concertizing in front of people like you today, it's great.
Did you wish you were ever something else?
Yeah. Actually, I thought about a couple things that when I was in high school, music was pretty much always in the top row, but there was a time when I considered being an attorney, and there was a time when, believe it or not, I even contemplated being a minister. But I've sort of ministered through music, I think, I mean, and teachers kind of, oh, you gotta go. It's been great, everybody.
Band members, we need to clear the stage. All percussion equipment, if you can help out, please. Band members, thank you, Dr. Raybine. That was quick. Percussion needs to be taken back to the band room,
I
please.
gotta take a science class. I got a thing that I enjoy.
Percussion students, make sure your stuff's taken care of. Thank you, band members. Band and string students, get your instruments, music, take it home. It's a weekend. Happy Friday.